Hello and welcome to episode 210 of the 77 Club. Harry, start with the socials.
The Wall 77 Club on Facebook and Instagram, at 77 Club Podcast on Twitter, Spotify, iTunes, YouTube. Please subscribe and tell a friend.
Jack Williams is here.
Hi, everybody.
And Dan Bayliss.
Hello.
And it is a happy new year from the 77 Club. Did everyone have a good Christmas?
Yeah. I was pretty ill for most of it, really.
Yeah, you've been all right pussy about it.
No, honestly, I was like ill from just before Christmas until really, I'm still feeling a bit shit now. It's been 2 weeks. It's pretty crap.
Never mind.
There wasn't like some sort of virus going around that no one had talked about for the last couple of years.
Is that what it was? Maybe.
Foot and mouth.
Foot and mouth. Can't get it twice. Right, okay, let's cover all things football. We are talking after the Villa game tonight. 1-1 draw at Villa Park. Harry, much improved performance. We will be touching on the previous games against Everton and Manchester United. And I think each one has been an improvement. I think the first half of this latest one, it was no different. He seems to be sticking with the same team for the best part of it and got off to a pretty good start. 12th minute, Daniel Podence.
Yeah, going into this game, I was kind of worried. So I did watch Villa beat Tottenham the other day, so I wasn't counting my chickens, but we started absolutely brilliantly. Completely bossed them. As you mentioned, Podence got the goal, which we more than deserved. My only critique of the first half is that we should have got more goals because it was pretty predictable what would happen second half because they couldn't get any worse, Villa, but really impressive. I like the way Lopetegui has been setting us up as a team. I know it's quite controversial to start the likes of Hwang and even maybe Podence, although he was immense today. He has struggled at times and obviously got his goal at Everton, which we'll talk about in a bit. But yeah, I really like the look of Lopetegui at the moment and an incredible first half. But what's bit us a bit today again is us not putting the ball in the back of the net a lot more, especially when we were on top so much in that first half, especially the first 25, 30 minutes.
Yeah, balls over the top with a problem. I think it's one of those, wasn't it, Jack, with Max Kilman, because he turned into prime Cafu to clear that header in the second half off the line, and then it's a ball over the top that does him for the goal.
It was literally about 2 minutes later as well, wasn't it, really? It's one of those, and as Harry said, I think in the WhatsApp group at half-time, we all said similar things, and it was like, that's probably the best half of football we played this season, and that's not an exaggeration, really, to be honest, in the first half. But the problem is, we only went in 1-0 up, and one goal in football is nothing when it's a cliche. It's a game of two halves, as you've always seen. And I think even actually probably for the first part of the second half, Villa obviously came out a bit more, but we contained them quite well. But then they just started to turn the screw a bit. And at the end, really, there was obviously the ball over the top for Ings' goal, which Kilman and Bueno just go to sleep.
Well, that's Sarr, Jack. Sarr slipping.
Sarr slips, didn't he? He slipped, to be fair.
Big mistake, really.
And then that one at the very end with Bailey over the top, nearly the same thing happened again. And really, he should have scored, shouldn't he? And they should have done to us what we did to them last season, really, and sucker punched them right at the death. And that's why I was really sceptical about it. Going into this game, I wasn't very confident, to be honest. I thought particularly how they've improved under Emery. I had very low expectations, but then we came out the trap so well, and players that I've been giving a bit of stick to in sort of recent weeks, Podence being one of those, just came out flying, and just loads of players had their best performance. But it doesn't mean anything if you just do it for 45 minutes and then start to fade away, and that's what happened, and we got punished for it. And arguably at the end, I was kind of sat there on the sofa thinking, there's a minute left now. Let's just take the point, lads. Especially after that Bailey miss. Like, just take the point. It's better than nothing.
Now, hang on, because I don't know whether it's a remnant of festive cheer or Dan was visited by three ghosts in the night, but he said something positive about Semedo at halftime. Do you just want to go over that, Bailey?
It's funny, a manager that's actually let us attack down the wings to start with. I think that's what it is. But still, I think the first half performance was very, very good. That's clear. But that's also part of the problem. I mean, the Vinyl Revivals put exactly what I was going to say, pretty much. Why the hell did Wolves decide from 45 to 85 minutes to play 30 yards in their own half? Like, it's inviting it. And then, to be perfectly honest with you, if you watch that game as a neutral, it should have finished 3-1 Villa. Realistically.
Maybe. Well, maybe.
This is now the crux, right?
You are a negative Nancy, though, aren't you, Bailey?
No. Let me give it to you here. We're at the tipping point now of either Lopetegui's come in, Wolves are revived, and we look good, and we're going to go on and get ourselves out of the mess that we're in, or we've got new manager syndrome where we're playing slightly better because there's a new guy to try and impress, and we go back to old ways. And that's where you put the positive negative on it. And what have you seen tonight? You've seen a fantastic 45 minutes of football where we score a really good goal and should go on to win the game. And to be perfectly honest, if you just watch the second half tonight, same old Wolves. Same old Wolves. We did absolutely... Aït-Nouri had a great chance, but he created it all himself.
That woman Cunha
made a very
back.
good run a couple of times.
Was he onside then? Do we know?
I don't know.
I thought he was onside. I thought it was onside by a mile.
Just
it must have been nothing. But like that is a really poor second half performance.
I agree, Baines, but I don't think you should be so
50.
negative because we're down there struggling and we've gone to Villa Park for the first 45 minutes and absolutely dominated them. I know the second half was so predictable. Like we said, we all called it on WhatsApp. Because we didn't get that second goal, Villa were going to make changes, which they did. Danny Ings is like the Kevin Phillips of
I was
old.
just about to say exactly
Isn't
the
it?
same thing.
He
Yeah,
always
exactly
falls
the same
us.
thing.
You just knew. Sarr slips. Obviously, Kilman with the heroics. But second half, we were sitting back, which is a natural thing to happen. Villa are going to come on to us. They can't get any worse. It's just a shame we couldn't get a second before half-time. And even second half, we had a couple of chances. As you mentioned, Aït-Nouri, Cunha, who I really like the look of, by the way. He's much bigger than I thought he was going to be. Because in my head, I thought he'd be like a tricky winger, which he probably is, but he's a big lad. And I think he'll do well through the middle. But I mean, you'd have took a draw before the game, wouldn't you? And I think on the whole run of play, I'd still say we were the better team. And I think Lopetegui, he's very refreshing. I'm quite positive. I've got positive thoughts. I think we're going to survive. I think we're playing well. I mean, I know Everton are really poor, but that was a good win in a game where you probably could have said Everton deserved a draw, but still.
Well, they went and got a draw against City, didn't they, the game after Everton? So,
but the only critique tonight is, for one, I think Costa shouldn't start anymore. He literally, I was watching a stream tonight, and every time he was running, I thought he was lagging because he's so slow. He plays in slow motion, Costa. Like, he's done. So either start Raul or start Cunha from now on for me. But yeah, Podence, I've been criticising Podence quite a lot, but he was brilliant. Don't know why he come off at half time. No idea. I don't know if it's tactical.
I think he's got an injury.
Yeah.
Must have.
Even Hwang, he don't really do much, does he, Hwang? But he's been okay, I think. Like, he battles away, he tries to do what he does. Went down the wing a few times, but we've got Guedes on the bench. We've got options now. We've got a stronger bench. It's just tonight is about our finishing. We should have been 2 up before half time.
I think Nick's just pretty much said it right, hasn't he? Why would you be in such a positive position at half time and then back off? Say, go on then, Villa. You can have 30 minutes here to try and get an equaliser. And then it was so Wolves.
He keeps making that sub, doesn't he? He keeps bringing Totti on to go like 5 at the back, or he like push Aït-Nouri on and put Totti left back. But he was doing that just before they scored, wasn't he? He was about to bring Totti on,
and he still did it.
The goal, and he still did it.
Yeah.
Look at where we dominated them, Harry. Nunes murdered Villa.
He was brilliant.
And then
He's been amazing.
And then we dropped him to play just in front of our own 18-yard box. Like, the bloke was all over him. Beating him, passing the ball, total control, and then we put him under pressure through our own creation. It doesn't make sense to me at all. So I thought Aït-Nouri came on and played really well.
Yeah,
Bueno was really good. Semedo had a good game. So the areas of the pitch where we played really well in the first half, they weren't even allowed to do it in the second.
I wanted to pick up on something that Dan said there when you said that we're on the cusp of something, and I think, and I tend to disagree with that because I think the World Cup has sort of thrown a lot of how we feel about how far along we are in the season, because we're not actually halfway through it yet. So what is it, 18 games gone? So it's Liverpool left to play before hitting halfway, but still, I think it's a little bit of a false position, do you not think, in terms of where we are and at what point of the season we are in this position?
No, not from watching that.
It is very congested at the bottom, though. Looking at it, really, I mean, we've had 4 points from these 3 Premier League games, and the early signs are positive. Really, I think most people realistically would have taken 4 points from those first 3 games, definitely. So the early signs are positive, and just if you put back-to-back wins together, you're going to go from out the relegation zone to halfway up the bottom half, really, maybe a little bit higher. So it is a lot to play for. I know Forest got a win tonight, didn't they? Which is really, really massive for them. But the early signs under Lopetegui are promising. I think the one thing that's kind of I haven't quite worked out yet in my head is going back to the substitutions. Across most of the games, really, it's quite refreshing to actually see a manager who actively changes and makes substitutions for us. He makes them at half time. He's not scared to make, 2 or 3 of them together on 60 minutes if he needs to. But at the same time, I haven't quite understood them yet, which is going back to the Toty thing. I think in the Man United game at one point, we didn't even have a striker on for a large period, and I was quite confused by that.
Yeah.
And we seemed to fall away then. So it seems like I like the fact we've got a manager who isn't scared to change it early, but so far the changes that he's made haven't really helped us in the games.
Just on that, Jack, I don't think he's not a fan of Raul, is he? He didn't even bring him on tonight. Brought him on late against United. Put Hwang in the middle when he brought Traore on against United. So I think Hwang might be out the door. But now we've got Cunha. I'd like to see him start for the middle because, I mean, Costa, the fans love him, don't they? He's a great character, but he's just lost it, hasn't he? He made a few good runs tonight in that, but it's almost like you're giving a retired player a run out in it sometimes when you're looking at him. It's like giving him a little run out just to...
It looks like he's doing his testimonial.
Yeah, it literally does sometimes. Like he runs and he just looks knackered after he runs.
The only thing I will say, by the end of February, I know it's talking hypotheticals and stuff, but we will know for certain whether this has worked or not, whether Lopetegui is right. Because the fixtures...
Well, we'll know by the end of May, won't we?
No, we'll know by the end of February.
That's
the
when
fixtures are do or die. The fixtures are do or die. Look at what we got. We got West Ham at home, and then City and Liverpool, which are fair enough. But then it's Southampton, Bournemouth, Fulham.
Yeah.
Got to win some of them. I like this, lads. This comment, Bayliss. I think he is, he's the next Bale, and he ain't Nori. Put him up from left back to left wing.
Didn't do a lot wrong tonight, did he?
No.
I think he's looking really good. 2 goals in 2 games, wasn't it? Against Gillingham and Everton as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there's certainly hope there. I feel as optimistic as Harry does. There's 3 points between us and Leicester, who are in 13th. It's a goal difference which will do us over, I think, the most.
2 of them are on really low goal difference. They're in the 20s, I think.
Yeah, Forest and Bournemouth both on -21. Then it's Southampton -18, Wolves -16, and then sort of thereabouts. Everton -10, West Ham -9.
So results like tonight is that makes games like the Forests, the West Ham, Southamptons. Some of them are going to become absolute have to wins, and that's.
So they must win, or they must not lose.
Well, it depends how we get on, but as it gets towards the back end of them, they're going to be must wins, aren't they?
The way it is at the moment, I think West Ham and Southampton, that's those 2 that sound like big games, particularly when we've got to, throw Man City in the middle of that mix, games where we're probably not going to pick up points.
Do you go for the Mick McCarthy, and then when we have Man City and Liverpool back to back, do you write off the Man City one?
I think we probably write off the game on Saturday against Liverpool, to be honest with you, because it's the FA Cup 3rd round. If anything, prioritise the cup game against Forest. Because you've got a semi-final place there if you get through. Remember going to what?
I'm going to make a bold prediction now.
Go on, Harry.
I think we're going to finish like mid-table this season, like comfortably in the end. I think we're going to have like a run and do really well. Like at these early stages, Lopetegui's got us sorted. Like I've been watching the YouTube videos when Cunha signed. All the atmosphere looks good. He's got us sorted here. Bring in a few players, and we'll be fine. We've got too much quality, and we've got too much of a good manager now. I mean, before the game, I'd have took a draw all day, but the way the game panned out feels a bit shit, and we could have lost. It's not going to be perfect, is it, from the off? He's come into a team with a set of players who are really low on confidence. I mean, that Everton win definitely helped to, boost morale a lot. We played well against United. We've got a draw away at Villa Park, who just gone and beat Spurs away. I'm really positive with how we're playing, and I think we're going to be fine.
I actually agree now, but I remember us talking in the WhatsApp group again just before the Gillingham game. And I think I said something like, "Does anyone actually really think we're going to stay up?" And everyone said no. And that's how it's changed. Really, he's had 4 games in charge. He's had 4 days of an open transfer window, and the signs are positive. I do agree. I think we look a lot better, and I do think we will start to climb that table because in every game so far, every Premier League game, we've been competitive at least. Really, we beat Everton. We were 15 minutes away from a victory tonight, although, we should have scored more. And without something against Man United and a bit of more from the referee, we might have at least scraped a point on that on another day, although I do think United were the better team and had the better chances. So, at least we're competitive and not just conceding the first goal and rolling over like we seem to be doing before for the whole of this season.
I think the World Cup break saved us as well, hasn't it? For Lopetegui to get
It
us
really
a bit
has.
sorted. If we didn't have that, I think we'd be in big trouble.
I agree. Yeah, I mean 6 weeks. It's probably more of a pre-season than you'd get in this summer coming because it's obviously a shorter turnaround this time around. But yeah, like you say, Harry, I think the feeling within the club itself has been lifted. I think the atmosphere in that going back to that first Gillingham game, it was so different. Even for Raul, who we sort of said we weren't very happy with him, the way that he handled his playing in the World Cup, going out to Mexico, having not played since August for his club, and then turning out for his country, a couple of months later. But yeah, no, I think it's going to be. Well, it's a demonstrable difference. It's chalk and cheese, I think, and the fitness of the side, I think, is much improved. That's getting better with every game, and that's why I think, quite confident in how these games are panning out, because I think it would have got to a leggy 20 minutes previously under Bruno Lage, whereas now there seems to be a little bit more left in the tank at the end of it, and it does make such a difference, especially at this level. Let's just quickly go over the Everton Manchester United game. I think that Everton game now, even though it was sometimes hard to watch, let's be honest, we were watching it, weren't we, in the pub on Boxing Day, but that could prove crucial come the end of the season, especially taking points off rivals that close to us in the table.
Yeah, no, that game, like you said, it was hard to watch at times, and it was a bit of a smash and grab. We were hanging on at 1-1, but it was weird because I thought we started really well, went 1-0 down early, and I just felt within myself that we were going to come back and do okay. And to get the win was just a huge, huge result for us, wasn't it? Like I said, it boosted morale overall. Great goal by Ait-Nouri, good finish, great counter-attack, good tactical substitutions from Lopetegui, as we've already mentioned. He seems to be good at that. And yeah, huge result. I know Everton, I mean, they got absolutely dicked, didn't they, against Brighton? Was it last night? They looked poor, but still, it was a huge result for us at the time. And it made us, going into the United game, which we're obviously talking about, be on a high, really. And I think, it was a massive result at the time.
Bayliss, bring in there.
Sorry, I've got a cat shouting in the background.
Is that you?
Put a Semedo shouting
Jeff, shut up.
I think we were unlucky in the Man United game, weren't we? Jack said, he felt that they probably had the better chances, which is probably true, but I don't think the referee helped at all.
The referee against Man United was just
awful.
A weird one, really. It's one of those where we were talking about it after and just watching it from, sort of from hopefully a neutral perspective. It's just there was a few things that just were bizarre to me. The first one was the amount of added time that was added on, because and the thing is, when you just think about this and think it through, if it was 0-0 or Wolves were 1-0 up in that circumstance, I think there'd have been at least 8 minutes added on. I think Podence was down for ages for part of it.
Oh, it should have been more added on, yeah.
And also, just in the first half, so the bookings that we were given, or the one booking that we got, who was it we got booked in the first half?
Semedo.
Semedo got booked for very little from what I saw. And then their player ended up getting booked in the second half. Absolutely
Casemiro. He should have been off.
And should have had 2 yellows, and it's just the inconsistency there, and those sort of things just highlighted. And I'm not saying that you should have won. There's no excuse for the defending for their goal because it was poor, wasn't it? That was just after
Johnny,
Totti on, wasn't it? Johnny.
What happened to him? I know Semedo nearly give him a goal first half when he give it to the left. What's his name? The left winger, number 49, the Argentinian.
The Argentinian. Oh yeah.
Who nearly put up? Semedo passed it to.
Oh god, yeah, I forgot about that. that was
it was a no-look pass as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. So then Johnny comes on, and he's 10 times worse than Semedo. To be fair to Semedo, apart from that, I thought he had a half decent game against United. To be honest,
yeah, he did. Apart from that,
Johnny come on, and he just looked absolutely awful.
We just didn't do anything against United. We didn't do anything to deserve.
Well, I thought first half Costa's daisy cut a chance. Neves' chance. Second half, Raul's header.
Garnacho, thank you to everybody in the comments.
Thank you in the comments, yeah. Our football knowledge is awful. We shouldn't really do a podcast, really. So.
We know Wolves players, that's all we need. So Bayliss, do you want to go and shoot that cat?
That's a siren, that isn't.
No, I know that. So January transfer window. Obviously, Cunha's come in. Harry, you seem to be an early fan, and the signs do look promising. How many more signings do you think until the squad is quotation marks complete?
Well, we've got to. I mean, we're crying out for a centre half. He keeps bringing Totti on. I mean, that's it, isn't it? That's all we've got really is cover there. So we're crying out for a centre half. Whether they'll get one, I don't know. Maybe another midfielder, but he seems to like Hodge, doesn't he? He likes Hodge. I think we need a right back because, I mean, Semedo did okay against Villa. There's no doubt about that. But Johnny looks finished. He may as well retire. Is that too harsh? I don't know. I don't know if his knees are gone.
He's had two ACLs, hasn't he?
Yeah, and
that's
it's
hard to recover
showing.
from.
It's showing as well, isn't it? Like big time. He's a liability at the moment. Rashford has been licking his lips when he was up against him for United. But yeah, and I would say a striker, but as you mentioned, Cunha, I think he'd be great for the middle. He's a big lad. I think he'll do a job there. Raul seems to be out of favour. Will he leave? I don't know. But we need another 2 or 3 players. And Jeff promised it.
Well, they said 6 to now, something silly at the start. Well, there was numbers like that being thrown around that he wants to bring in.
Martin's put in the comments we need a left back. I disagree with that. I think Nori and Bueno are both really good and playing well. So I disagree with that.
New deal for Traore, yes or no?
I'd give it him, but I don't think he wants to.
Do you think he would sign it? I mean, the Lopetegui effect may work in our favour. I don't know.
On a free transfer, I mean, I think he's Spanish manager. It could come in and change his attitude a bit. But on a free transfer, there's very few Premier League clubs outside maybe the top 6 that wouldn't take a chance on him. Really, I don't think you just take him even for the impact thing, and then he can probably get the wages that he's been dreaming of if he goes to, I don't know, Villa. He could go to Villa, couldn't he? Something like that. But
I think it's a really weird one with him, isn't it? Because I would have said it was all about the money before he went to Barcelona for a lot less money than he would have if he'd have gone to Spurs. So I don't know what it is with him.
He's being greedy.
He is a gamble.
He's being greedy. Adama thinks he's better than what he is. He thinks he's like an absolute superstar, which he can be at times. There's no doubt about that. But I think if he weren't such a greedy, see you next Tuesday, I think he'd have been gone already.
I think he's got talent. That's the thing. Look at who he's had to feed with his ball and with his end product. People are saying he's got an end product.
He's feeding a ghost at the moment because no one
he might as well have Jack. He might as well have Jack up front.
Yeah. But he scored tonight, didn't he? That one when he cut on his left and whacked it over the bar. But I think if he signed a new deal, I think he'd be a starter. I think Lopetegui would start him. I think that's the only reason why he keeps coming off the bench.
I always thought he was best in the last 25 minutes of a game to just go tired defenders. I'd pick out the most tired of the 4 and just tell him to run at them all day.
I saw a weird link as well, that Raul might go to Barcelona. Did you see that one?
I saw that one. I don't know where that's coming from.
That's a strange one, isn't it? Why would Barcelona want Raul?
Nunes to Liverpool. Do you think there's anything in it?
Yeah, probably.
Well, the way he's playing, all of a sudden, since we've come back off the World Cup break, he looks like the player we signed. Like everyone was excited when he signed, and he's starting to show it, isn't he? I think he had that one game against Chelsea where he had glimpses of what he can do, where he just flies up the field with the ball, travels well. He was brilliant against Villa. He was really good against Man United, and maybe someone's whispered in his ear saying, Liverpool are looking at you, mate. Keep playing well, and you're going to get the move in January. So I think if he carries on like he is, I think Liverpool will take him.
It could happen, but to me, it makes no sense from a Liverpool point of view, really, because they could have had him for, 38 million in the summer. It looks like if they do get him this time around, it's going to be 46. They don't really overpay, although if you've seen Darwin Núñez play, then they definitely have overpaid on that one, but it's not really how they do transfer business. But he would be the perfect signing for them. Don't get me wrong. They do have an aging midfielder.
Yeah, but it'll just be in 48 annual instalments or something, won't it?
So although Scott Sellers isn't here anymore, so you'd hope the recruitment might take a turn for the better as well.
Sorry to completely flip it and go back what we've been talking about, but this comment's caught my attention from Brian Blake. Read that out. I don't agree with this at all.
Julian seems more stubborn than Large, has a bias against Raul. Costa has been ineffective. Ditto Wang. Why he doesn't play with Raul and Cunha up front, I don't know.
Bloody hell, Cunha hasn't unpacked his suitcase yet.
I mean, Julian...
Neither is Raul.
Definitely, I wouldn't call him stubborn. I think... Does he mean stubborn as in because he won't pick Raul?
I think Raul
maybe?
Must be going. I find it weird he's not playing. And if he's still here at the end of January, fair comment, but you'd guess he's going given what's going on.
You need players with the right attitude in a relegation battle. And if you get off on the wrong foot with the new manager, which is what he did, because he came out in his first press conference and says he shouldn't be going to the World Cup. He's not fit. He hasn't been playing for us. We need a striker. That's a problem.
Definitely. And like Mitch has put, Julian's different gravy. You can just tell the difference. His aura, everything about Lopetegui just oozes class. The only one that's a bit like, why does he keep doing it, is the Totti move. He does keep bringing Totti on and going 5 at the back, which is obviously tactical. I mean, he's a Premier League manager. You know what I mean? He knows what he's doing. And he still did it, as we mentioned, after Villa equalised tonight. But as I've said earlier, I'm really happy with him. I think we'll be fine. Raul, as you said, I think he'll be gone. And yeah, he keeps playing Costa, which I don't agree with. I think that was his last chance tonight to get a goal or do something. I think now drop him, play Cunha, even maybe play Raul if he is sticking around, but we don't know, do we? But yeah, I think we'll be fine with Lopetegui, and tactically, I think he knows what he's doing. And I've also noticed, if you notice, he never ever stands in his technical box in the dugout. He always just walks up the line. He's near by the corner flag.
I do think we need to just like take a chill about Cunha, though, to be honest, because everyone's just, I know it's because particularly when we're paying big money for a player like that, it's hard not to get excited. But I mean, he came on tonight and he won a couple of balls and looked like he was trying a few balls. I didn't think he was going to win. Did some strange tackles actually, but let's just read it in a little bit and let's just see. Maybe, I'm sure the fact that Lopetegui has said that he's brought him in as his first signing, there's some intent there and a bit of a statement. But let's not expect him to be starting. He might start on Saturday actually. This is a cup game. It's minutes under the belt in the country where you've just moved to. You want to play, so that's possible. But yeah, I think there could be a few actually on Saturday where we just rotate a little bit and, players like Guedes will probably get minutes, these sorts of things. But let's not put too much pressure on him just because we've got one striker who's a has-been, the other one who's probably also a has-been.
Imagine being Guedes sat on the bench and watching Aït-Nouri come on instead of you, like as like a wing forward. I'd be sat there thinking, Jesus, I'm
especially
not happy
being
with this.
Spanish as well, isn't it? You think that you might favour the Spanish players a little bit, particularly someone coming from Spain, and obviously Guedes was tearing it up in Spain last season, wasn't he? Apparently, but yeah, we'll see.
You know what else I think? Apart from the YouTube clips, because I've never seen Cunha play, I'll be honest. My football knowledge is limited to the West Midlands, really. Watching these introduction videos on YouTube and that, he seems like the nicest bloke in the world. So I think that's why people are just like, yes, like really bigging him up. And
we said that about bloody Sasha.
Sasha and he did his ACL, didn't he? No, but just the little thing. I know he didn't do much when he come on, Cunha, but just how big he was surprised me, and just he looked sharp when he come on. He looked way sharper than Costa did. In my opinion. Yeah. And that one when Adama flung it over the bar, he probably should have laid Cunha in for that one. He'd have had like a one-on-one.
Let's be honest, he should have at least hit the target.
Yeah, but it's Adama we're talking about, so
that's true. Yeah, that's true. Okay, well, it's all eyes on the January transfer window. I think 5 is going to be a stretch. I think realistically 3 would probably be decent. I think the fact that I think he's making a point to the board almost with his selection of Costa and Totti as well. I think he's saying, look, this is what I want to do, and these aren't good enough to achieve what we want to achieve. I think that's my 2 pence worth. Next up, Liverpool in the FA Cup. Always beat them in the FA Cup, so through to the next round, I'm sure. Don't have much luck at Anfield outside of the cup, but it's the magic of the cup, isn't it, Harry? And could I say cup any more times?
Yeah, but this is a weird one for me because, as we know, we're still in the League Cup, another cup there.
Yep. And
I would, if I was the manager, which I'm not, obviously, I would really rotate it. I'd just go there, rest the players we need. I wouldn't. It's such a weird thing to say, but I wouldn't mind if we get knocked out. I just wouldn't, because we want to survive. That's our priority. We're deep in fairly deep in the League Cup. So it's a bit of a weird one. Liverpool, will they go strong? I don't know, because obviously, what are they, 5th, 6th in the league? They want to get into the top 4 if they can. They're struggling this season in terms of their league position. The FA Cup, obviously, used to be a big cup. I suppose it still is a major trophy, so they'd want to have a chance of winning it. So, strange one. It's one of those games where don't really care if we lose, which is a bit crappy to say. Obviously, you want to win every game you go into, but I'd really rotate it. I'd start Cunha. I'd probably start Guedes. I'd start the players that haven't been in there. You'd probably start like Hodge as well, people like that. Maybe even Sarkic in goal. I don't know, but going into it, I think we'll lose. I just hope we can give a good account to ourselves and just go for it. You know what I mean? If we lose, I don't think our fan base will be that arse. So much pressure on it, to be honest.
Jackie, you ringing the changes, or just because of it's the FA Cup third round, it is a weekend that's been put aside for it. So getting minutes under your belt probably isn't the worst thing in the world.
I agree with Harry. I think it's probably the least important game of this 10 days period that we've got, really. I think I'd much rather us actually go full throttle against Forest and go through and get to a League Cup semi-final. Because realistically, even if we get past Liverpool, we've still got a way to go till we get to the later stages of the FA Cup, although obviously it is superior to the League Cup. But yeah, I think this is probably a good chance for a bit of rotation, really. Like I said earlier, players like probably Guedes, Jimenez will probably get minutes, Hodge, these sorts of things. But I mean, there's a lot going. It's FA Cup third round weekend is always a big occasion in the footballing calendar. I'm sure everyone going will have a good day and hope you have a good performance. But yeah, I'm not as bothered about this as I would have been when we drew Liverpool probably the last two times in this competition, to be honest. And that's just because of the circumstances. The game tonight is much bigger than the game on Saturday, and that's the one we should have prioritised. And I'm sure that we did. But now with the short turnaround and Nottingham Forest coming up, then yeah, I'm happy just to see rotations. And if we get turned over, we get turned over.
Mr. Nostalgia, the lover of yesteryear, Bayliss, thoughts?
Oh, sack it off.
Really? I wasn't expecting to say
No, I wasn't expecting that. I thought he was going to go on a massive like emotional statement.
I love
how nice the FA Cup is. He's like,
I do love the FA Cup, but there are bigger things sometimes, aren't there? And we've got to try and stay up. And we're in a quarter final of another one. Just sack it off.
Oh,
Don't
how deep into the squad would you be willing to sort of fish, or is it about
under 18?
Putting the
no, Bayless, shut up.
Yeah, don't bother.
The thing is, it'd be just like
only take a minibus.
Get some of the fans out the crowd in. Get some of the fans in the crowd in the squad.
It's an opportunity for people like Guedes, isn't it?
Yeah, it is definitely.
Honestly, I'd play Dazzling Dave in centre mid. Dave has a party in goal. Crack on.
Raul will be up front, I think. Cunha on the one wing, Guedes on the other, Hodge in the middle. Maybe Babacar if he's back to full fitness. I know he didn't make the bench tonight.
I think that's a good shout. Yeah, if he is fit.
Johnny right back, unfortunately.
We say that, but it seems lately when we say rotate everything, it won't be that drastic. I reckon the spine of the team will be the same. I reckon it'd probably still be Kilman, Collins, Neves.
Well, it doesn't make sense.
But it has to be Kilman and Collins, really, unless you put Totti and Collins.
No, worst thing you could do is risk Kilman and Collins.
Well, that's right. We've already got Totti.
They've played all the time, haven't they? Every game.
We call Cody and put him in there. What are we going to do?
It doesn't matter. We've got a cup quarter final and 4 or 5 games that are pretty much going to decide whether we stay up or not within the next month and a bit.
That's a bit dramatic. Dan.
Yeah, but it's really negative. We're just about to hit the halfway point of the season. Calm down.
I'm giving the positive outlook of go and win the games that are important.
You just said we're going down if we don't get a few results in the next few games.
Yeah, so why even think about the Liverpool game?
Oh no, I agree. I said bin it off personally.
Bin it. Don't even talk about it.
Just don't turn it.
Don't talk about it. Just not talk about the FA Cup game we've got coming up. Yeah.
You know what happened though? We're probably going bloody win.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Genuinely.
It's a bit like the League Cup. We're not that arsed about it, but we keep plodding on and keep winning. It's a bit like, all right, keep going. It'd be nice if we could get a little run in the league going so we're out the relegation zone. So we actually think, wow, I want to win a cup. Which you do. You want to win a cup, don't you? But the way the Premier League's set up these days and the money, unfortunately, our owners would rather us become 17th and win the League
We'll beat Liverpool, and then Neves will break his leg against Dagenham or Redbridge.
Dagenham or Redbridge? They got 2.
Yeah, either of them. It's unfair.
Trinidad or Tobago.
Just don't bother. Come on. You've all got to see common sense here. I think you have.
I agree. I think we've all said it's the least important
game,
but you can't just go up there and field a kids team. Although I'm guessing Liverpool will probably rotate heavily as well, really.
The
But
thing is,
I do think the Nottingham game is more important.
I think Liverpool they aren't in great shakes. I mean, Oxlade-Chamberlain started against Brentford the other night. You know, so I imagine
Unfortunately,
Henderson will play.
The FA Cup's becoming the League Cup.
It's
slowly becoming the League Cup.
It's becoming the Milk Cup.
The League Cup's becoming the bloody Community Shield for everyone. Like, it's just no one cares. But if we won it, I'd obviously run around Wolverhampton naked for about 2 weeks. So
gets you into Europe. Gets you into Europe, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's through the back door.
It's the best chance we got this season.
100%. Although it is so tight. It is so tight. I want to look at the Let's have a look. Is Europe on? What's Europe these days? Oh, fifth. Got no chance. Yeah, 19 points. All right, okay. Well, we'll leave that there for another week. If you're going to Anfield, do enjoy.
No betting odds, no ticket news, nothing.
Don't enjoy it.
I didn't know that we were doing that this week, to be honest with you. There's been lots of ticketing stuff going on.
What's happened?
Liverpool away on Saturday, that's sold out. I know that. Nottingham Forest, quite quick turnaround for that, but that's on sale as of the points as of today. This is just off the top of my head. This is like freestyle ticket news. This is all I know. Man City, actually, talking point on Man City, they are not actually issuing physical tickets for the game. You can't go unless you have a smartphone, which has caused a bit of a stir because particularly older fans, it's it's not a given that everyone has a smartphone. I know people who go to the football and they just have a Nokia 3310 because they don't want their wives calling them or checking up on them. So these sorts of things. So,
I mean,
it's not a given that everyone has one. It's
2023. I mean, it has to come to. It's like, guys, we're going to use electric lights. No, we love the gas lamps. We love it when we light them on the side of the road.
Does it though? Is having a paper ticket that bad? Like I like paper tickets.
Saved me on Saturday.
What
a paper ticket did, or your phone?
Yeah, because I had to go to the ticket office and get a print out. I didn't have a card.
It makes it much easier to swap tickets with people when they're paper rather than.
Where's a Wolf's got a message for you?
Disagree. Sorry. One thing I will say, I just flicked up the betting odds just to have a look, and it's if your team go 2-0 up or 2 goals up, will pay out.
Oh yeah,
and the odds shorten, which for Liverpool is perfectly sensible. If they do go 2-0 up. Great payout. It's the same for Wolves. The odds shorten down to 15-2 for us to win, and they'll pay out if we go 2 up.
They shorten to 15-2.
Yeah, that means we have to score 2 goals. We're 17-2 just to win it.
Yeah,
can I 33s on
17-2.
Before we wrap it up, can I just throw out one more topic for us to discuss?
Yeah,
the atmosphere at Molineux. Can you
at Man United? To be honest,
right? Literally, can you give me 3 reasons why you think the atmosphere has completely died in the probably since post-COVID? I've got my 3 reasons why I think it's happened.
Oh, Tuffy. Firstly, we've been shit.
Yeah,
that's the main reason. That is the main reason.
No. Do you know what I think the main reason is?
10 goals. 10 goals in 18 games.
Yeah, that's one of them, Bailey. I'll say that's 11. My second main reason. My second one, what Bailey said, is the South Bank's turned into safe standing, and since then it's become South Bank is not the South Bank I know. It just hasn't been. First main reason for me is we just expect as a fan base now. We've got rich owners, we get a lot of big players in. We turn up at Molineux and just think we should win this, even if we're struggling, even if we're 20th in the Premier League. We turn up and just think we should win this. So if we don't, the atmosphere just don't get going. When we first was in the Championship under Nuno and got promoted, everyone was buzzing. When we first went up to the Premier League, we had that underdog feeling. When we've got that underdog feeling, the South Bank and Molineux are incredible. But when we've been there for a few years and we're kind of established and think we should be top 7, we just think we're owed it now because we've got money and owners and all these superstars coming in. We just don't. We just sit there and think, go on then, play for us, do something, make us excited, which we haven't done. We haven't, admittedly. The team hasn't got the fans going. We hadn't scored many goals. But I think the South Bank I used to know growing up would get behind the team, even when we were 6-0 down against Southampton back in the day under Mick McCarthy.
We should have won that game. I stand by that. I don't know what it. I think 11 goals in 18 games. It is difficult to get excited about it. Do you know what I mean? Especially when we do eventually score it, we usually come in from behind. Makes a difference, massive difference. A counter-attacking football, that's That's exciting. That's what gets the chance going, because every time there's a turnover, you think there's a chance of a goal here. I can't remember the last time I felt like that. There were a couple of times tonight against Villa, to be fair, where it was like, oh, actually, this is a bit end to end. And when it's end to end, it's definitely more exciting. And then the away fans are going at it as well. And I think that makes a big difference.
Great shout from Hungry While the Wolf, by the way. It's called out the North Bank.
It's a bit rich for you, North Bank.
Yeah,
you spend half in the concourse, crying the atmosphere and blaming the South Bank. Start a move to make North Bank the singing section.
We spend a lot of time in the concourse because we're bored of what we're watching, and we get wet where our seats are, but that's our own fault. But yeah, I agree. I had a season ticket in the South Bank, which many of us did for years, and it was always rocking. But the South Bank's always been the stand that gets everyone going. The Steve Bull outsings the South Bank these days with their ironic.
Let's not start.
They do.
What we always say though is that we will come up and take our seats when the South Bank starts singing. So that's why we end up in the concourse. Yeah, we never actually make it to our seat.
I think once you hit 30 as well, you have to move out the South Bank. Like, you're not allowed in there anymore.
I don't condone these messages.
Right, let's leave it there. Hopefully we've started many fires among people and where they sit. So happy New Year to everybody. We'll say goodbye to Harry Mansell.
So bye, everyone.
It's goodbye to Jack Williams.
Bye, everybody. Happy New Year.
Dan Bayliss.
Cheerio, everyone.
And it is a goodbye from me. Goodbye.